All right, welcome into the postgame show, everybody. Dan Tanner here, Altitude Sports Radio. Nuggets and Suns reaction. Welcome to In the Paint as the Nuggets, just what a great bounce back win for the Nuggets tonight, everybody. 130 to 112 is your final. The Nuggets improved to 14-5 on the season. What a response from the Nuggets tonight after just a devastating loss to the Spurs last night in the Mile High City, 139 to 136 last night. I thought the Nuggets defense, everyone, was much better tonight in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona. So, both of these teams were coming off of a back-to-back. Obviously, the Nuggets last night against the San Antonio Spurs, and the Suns had to play in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. So what a crappy two-game stretch there for the Phoenix Suns. You got to play in Oklahoma City last night and then play the Nuggets in Phoenix tonight. But look, there are so many positives that came out of tonight's game. The bench was absolutely outstanding. This was probably the best performance from the bench on the season. And I thought Bruce Brown, Jonas Valanciunas, and Tim Hardaway and Spencer Jones were all phenomenal. Spencer Jones, man, we've talked about him quite a bit. He really is kind of an enigma for this team right now. Some games it looks like he doesn't belong in the NBA, and then he has games like tonight where you're like, okay, I kind of understand why the Nuggets like him so much. He's a good defender. He's got a extremely awkward looking outside jump shot, but it was going in tonight. Last I saw, I believe he was 3 of 5 from 3 in tonight's game, which is outstanding. So what a performance from the Nuggets bench. I mean, Jonas Valanciunas in 15 minutes had 9 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He's continuing to not hamper what the Nuggets are trying to do with that second unit. They can run their offense the same way when Nikola Jokic goes off the floor. I've said this so many times this year, but one of my favorite things about the addition of Jonas Valanciunas is that when Nikola Jokic goes off the floor, the Nuggets really don't have to change the way they run their offense. He's able to run the two-man game with Jamal Murray when Jamal Murray staggers with the second unit, specifically to start the second quarter, or with Cam Johnson, like we've seen over the last couple of games. Adelman's moving away from starting the second with Jonas Valanciunas and Jamal Murray, and he's tasked Cam Johnson to be the lone starter with the second unit. And boy, I mean, honestly, it's a good problem for David Adelman to have because both of those strategies have been working. So it's good to know for David Adelman, like he can just go to either one of those guys, either Cam Johnson or Jamal Murray, to stagger with the second unit, and it works either way. So that was awesome to see. I thought the Nuggets bench was absolutely excellent tonight. Tim Hardaway. We got to talk about Tim Hardaway here for a second. This guy has been absolutely phenomenal for the Denver Nuggets. 23 points tonight in just 27 minutes, 8 of 14 shooting from the field. He made 7 of 11 three-pointers, and he tosses in 3 rebounds. He was a plus 10. The guy is just a sniper from the outside, and that's really what the Nuggets were missing a lot of last season were guys that could come off the bench and produce at a high volume. And now they've got a couple of guys. Bruce Brown, I thought this was an extremely impactful game from Bruce Brown. Now, if you just look at the box score, like the numbers wouldn't necessarily bear that out as far as scoring goes. He only had 4 points. He had the sweet coast-to-coast layup there in the fourth quarter that I thought kind of just sealed the game for the Nuggets tonight. But the dude had 10 assists. He had double-digit assists coming off the bench. That is so valuable to teams around the league to have a guy that can come off the bench and dish out 10 assists. Great stuff from Bruce Brown. Tonight looked like vintage Bruce Brown. Like I've been talking earlier in the season, throughout the course of this early regular season, that Bruce Brown, since he's been back after his 2023 stint with the Denver Nuggets, has just looked a little bit off. Like he's just trying to find his footing. He hasn't been bad, but he's just looked a little bit off. Tonight, I thought he looked like the Bruce Brown that we were so used to seeing when he was here in 2023. So that was great to see. And if they can get that version of Bruce Brown moving forward, I think that is just absolutely phenomenal for this Denver Nuggets team. Great win tonight after such a disappointing loss last night in San Antonio. All right, we got DMAC on the show. Let me add him in here. D, welcome in the paint.
What's going on, Dano?
Dude, what a great bounce back win for the Nuggets tonight, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, heartbreaker against the Spurs last night. The defense was terrible. I thought the effort and energy tonight was much better. You know, I played some of David Adelman's comments last night on the postgame show, and the rotations on defense, especially in the fourth quarter, they kept leaving a guy wide open in the corner for three.
Yeah.
David Adelman said, you know, we're going to talk about that. That's a point of emphasis. He actually said they thought they were doing a pretty good job of it earlier on in the year, but last night against San Antonio, it just crapped the bed. So it was good to see the defensive effort get the structure was much tighter tonight. And then the bench unit, my goodness, the bench was outstanding tonight. I thought it was Bruce Brown's best game so far this season. Tim Hardaway continues to show that what an addition he was over the offseason. Jonas Valanciunas, man, so much good happening tonight in the desert.
Yeah, and a little bit of rest for you. A little bit of rest for Jokic, 31 minutes. So yeah, last night was depressing, Dan. I don't know what to tell you, man. It sucked. And being there was just like I'm being a little facetious about it. It's for the cup. It's for the cup. But you know what? You know, Dan, as dumb as the cup might be, like that was freaking disappointing about losing that opportunity. I'm not lying. Like,
was it disappointing because of the cup, or was it disappointing because they lost their third home game in a row and they were coming off of of a three games off, 3-day stretch of not playing?
Yes,
all of it. Yeah,
all of it. All of it mattered. And all of it was sucky. And the court, I don't know how you watched that on TV. Oh my Lord. It was hard to see in person, never mind on TV. I saw some of it was brutal. But the vibe after, I mean, they blew an 18-point lead. They didn't play any defense.
No Victor Wembanyama.
No Castle either. But they've got a lot of other good players, and they've been getting some big wins too. It's not like they've been playing poorly without Wembanyama. They haven't. They've been playing well. And but still, Dan, you had an 18-point lead. And by the way, Phoenix played last night too. So both teams are coming off of back-to-back. It's ironic. Both the Avs and Nuggets both were playing back-to-backs, playing teams that were also playing back-to-backs.
Yeah.
How about that?
And, well, the benefit for the Avs is the Canadians had to come to Denver.
Yes.
And that's always tough on opposing teams on the second night of a back-to-back, having to go to Denver. I want to say the win percentage for Colorado teams is like 90+% in those scenarios. But, credit the Nuggets. They had to go on the road and get it done. Now, the Suns, holy cow. How about that for a back-to-back, DMAC? Oklahoma City last night and Denver tonight. Like, thanks, NBA.
That is pretty.
I mean, my God, man, that is brutal. So, I get it. They were both coming off back-to-backs, but did the Nuggets look tired to you tonight at all? They sure as hell didn't look tired to me.
Well, it's so funny, and I grabbed I did grab before I came on here Tim Hardaway. Do I have that or not? I thought I did. I can't have it. Hold on one second.
Yeah, no biggie. No biggie. Take your time.
Me and the digital.
Take your time.
All right, here we go. This is with Dempsey.
One of the things I noticed right off the top was the hand powder that goes on. You write the word "win" in that. Just talk to me. I don't know if you do that all the time, but what does that mean to you?
I've been doing that since I came into the league. I've been doing that even in college. Just to remind the guys what we're here for, what we're playing for, and just go out there and play every possession like it's your last and try to win the game.
And you guys did that today. First of all the three-pointers went in. But this was a physical Phoenix team, especially right off the top. How did you guys gradually gain control of this game?
I mean, knocking down shots help, obviously, but also just sticking with the game plan, staying with it. Both teams coming off of a back-to-back. First end of a back-to-back. So just we know their legs are tired just like ours are. So it was going to be a grind. It was going to be a battle. Just try to do our best to will this one.
7 3-point makes for you in this game. Just talk about your night and how good you felt out there.
Felt tired, actually. No, but all jokes aside, I mean, just wanted to come in here with a killer instinct, take what the defense gave me. Any opportunity I had, I just try to let it fly. Teammates did a great job of finding me. Just try to make their life easier by knocking it down and letting those two go at it in the second half.
About what time do you know that you're just on fire? Like, how many do you make before you know I'm on fire?
First one.
First one.
That's awesome.
That's pretty funny. First one.
That does make sense though. Like everybody who's just gone out to a rec park and shot a bucket, like you usually can tell when it's gonna be like that first shot, like, oh yeah, that felt good. It's same thing in golf, that first golf swing and you hit it clean. You're like, okay, like I've got the swing down. So that was really cool to hear from Tim Hardaway. Dude, this guy has been unbelievable, DMAC. It's exactly what they needed.
Yeah.
He signed to a 1-year deal, so they didn't have to trade for him. He's 33 years old, but he's still playing like he's in the prime of his career. He's a great sixth man. Kudos to the Nuggets front office, DMAC. I mean, this was, of all of the splashy signings they made in the offseason or trades, whatever you want to phrase it as, this was probably the one that went most under the radar. And honestly, he's been the best of the four of them so far.
Tonight was a weird ass game, man. Okay, they hit 20. They were 22 of 38 from three. First of all, damn, son. I mean, they score 130 plus points back-to-back nights. Okay, awesome. They had, I'm counting them up, Cam Johnson, who was great last night, too, from three. Not great with the turnovers, but great last night from three. 3 of 6. Spencer Jones, 4 of 6 from three. I'm sorry, what?
Career high in points.
Oh, that was ridiculous. I mean, he is wide open. He is. There's going to be a lot of moments where Spencer Jones is wide open.
He's getting the Peyton Watson treatment. Remember, we were talking about that earlier this week. Like that's, and that's the philosophy that this Nuggets offense has, DMAC. At least it was with Malone. I'm assuming it's the same under Adelman because, if you remember, when Michael Malone was here, he would say this all the time. If a guy's open, I'm telling them, I don't care who you are, shoot it. Like, I don't care if you miss the shot. If you're wide open, you take the shot. And it looks like that message has carried over to David Adelman and his staff because these guys, and I credit Spencer Jones and Peyton Watson, like not guys that aren't necessarily known as outside shooters. Heck, even Christian Brown, when he was in there, when they're open, they are shooting the rock. And luckily they're going in. So it's working out well.
Yeah. So that's 7 for 12 and then 7 of 11 for THJ. So you're 14 of 23 with 3 guys. I mean, Spencer Jones was on the team, but he really wasn't, right? So you're 14 of 23 from 3 tonight. Okay. 42 points from 3 with 3 guys who didn't even play for your team last year.
Wow.
That's good. That's great. And then Jokic was one free throw away from a perfect shooting night. As he was 7 for 7 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, and then 10 of 11 from the line. One free throw from a perfect shooting night, and he had another Sombor double. He had one. Yeah, that's how bad things were last night. Like, we all thought he had a triple-double, and then, like, the NBA took away a rebound.
Yeah.
So he finished with a Sombor double last night, too. So,
stupid NBA offices. What a game.
The crazy thing, we looked it up. The Nuggets hadn't lost a game at home scoring 136 or more points in regulation in 34 years or something ridiculous like that. It happened like in 90, 91, that sort of season. So they had scored more than 136 and lost, but it was in in overtime, something like that. So in regulation. So nice bounce back win for them. Really nice bounce back win.
DMAC, last night on the show, a lot of the people watching were commenting about how bad the defense was, and it was awful. I mean, there's no getting around that, but there were a lot of people saying, oh, the Nuggets defense is terrible. They stink. And I was sitting there like, no. if you look at their defensive rating, I looked at it last night. They're 4th in the NBA. They were
Right.
the number 1 defensive rated
Right.
team through the first 3 weeks of the season. Now, yes, last night was awful. Okay.
Right.
But to me, that felt like more of a blip on the radar than it did a sign of things to come. And, they kind of regressed or progressed, if you will, back to the mean of what kind of defensive team this is. And by the way, let's not forget, 2 of their best defenders are out right now in Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown.
Correct.
But the good thing for this team, DMAC, is the way that they've built this organization, this roster, is they have depth, not only on offense, but they have depth defensive pieces. Spencer Jones, Tim Hardaway can play a little defense. I think Cam Johnson's an excellent defender. So the way this team is built, they are built to survive tough stretches like this, and they're hopefully built to do this in the playoffs.
Don't you feel like Cam Johnson is finding his stroke too, Dan?
Well, it's ever since the bicep injury, I believe he's averaging close to 20 points a game.
Okay.
And shooting over 40% from 3.
And I asked him about it last night. And he was like, yeah, it's just, he did admit.
We played it last night. I heard what he said. It was great. Go ahead.
Well, he said it helps to see him go in, obviously, and that he admitted he just was a little bit off. But that being said, he was in a bad mood last night because that late turnover, that one in particular late turnover,
which he held himself accountable for.
He sure did. He said it was going to haunt him and it would give him a sleepless night. So I don't know if the Nuggets played like extraordinary defense tonight, but it was certainly good enough. And they came into the fourth quarter with an 11-point lead, and they were consistent. They scored 33 points in the third. Dan, they scored 34 points in the fourth, and the defense was fine. It was good enough. So nice win, really nice win.
Great win. The start of the game was infuriating because they started the game with 5 turnovers. They had 4 turnovers in the first 3 minutes after having 16 turnovers last night against the Spurs.
Right.
I tweeted this out during the game, and I want to get your thoughts, D, on what you think about this statement that I said, because I said the Nuggets kryptonite. Okay, their kryptonite. It's not injuries, it's not depth, and it's not their defense. It's turnovers, and it's been their kryptonite. Not just this season, it's been their kryptonite for years.
Right.
They've had this issue. Now, I was trying to think a little bit more in depth about this, okay? I give them a tiny bit of a pass with the turnovers, specifically when it comes to Nikola Jokic. Because that's really the only thing we can be critical about with the Joker right now is he turns the ball over too much. But I started thinking about it, and I'm like, one of the reasons he's turning the ball over so much is because he's trying so many of these insane slinger cross-court passes that when they work, we sit there and ooh and ah, and it makes Sports Center top 10. So it's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like his turnovers aren't him just making dumb decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just who he is. So I don't know. I'm just curious your thoughts on like, would you say that the turnovers is this team's kryptonite right now?
Well, so last night, and they talked about it extensively, I think it was 17 turnovers that resulted in 30 points. Do you know what it is? I'm looking at it, so I'm cheating. But do you know how many points they scored, or the Phoenix scored off turnovers tonight?
I don't know what they had for the game, but I wrote it down.
What would you guess?
I'll say it was 18.
Okay, so tonight the Nuggets actually had, which is a little disappointing, the same amount of turnovers, 17.
Right.
Last night they gave up 30 points, which is basically here's the ball, go score. Right? I mean, it's like here you go, let's go for it. They only gave up 7 points off 17 turnovers tonight. And I would make the argument, if you really were to give some truth serum to David Adelman, he should be as equally as frustrated about tonight as he was last night, except for the fact the turnovers didn't cost them as much, but they had just as many, Dan. It was 17-7. Which is kind of like kind of weird Do I have that right, or am I screwing that up?
Well, so
Maybe
I wrote
screwing that up.
I don't know. I wrote this down.
Oh, I
so
got that right. I got that right.
So in the middle of the second quarter, okay, the Nuggets had 11 turnovers for 14 Suns points. That was in like the middle of the second quarter.
Oh, here's what I got wrong. I'm sorry. Here's what I screwed up. Now I see what I did. I'm sorry. My bad. 17 turnovers last night, 30 points. Tonight, 17 turnovers, 23 points. I'm sorry, not 7. 17 turnovers, 23 points. So 7 less points off the turnover, same amount of turnovers.
It's still not good.
No, right.
So DMAC, I said this.
To your point.
I said this on the show last night. If you remember, it was a couple of years ago. Michael Malone was talking about that specifically. It's not just the turnovers that the coaching staff looks at. It's the how many points are we giving up on those turnovers.
Yes.
And I'll never forget, he said our goal for points off of turnovers is, I think he said, right around like 16 points a game. He said, if we can hold teams to right around that 16 number or less, we count that as a win. So last night, they basically doubled up of what Malone's goal was as far as what was acceptable giving up points off of turnovers. I mean, that's how bad it was. So my point is, looking at tonight, like, okay, 23, sure, that's 7 less than 30, but it's still not good. It's still way over the amount that this team is trying to give up. So
And the Suns had 7 turnovers and gave up 7 points. So the difference tonight really wasn't turnovers, because it was equally as bad or very close to as bad as last night. It wasn't quite as bad, and the Nuggets shot 58% from 3.
So fans, like, this is a question for you and for the listeners. Are you okay with the Nuggets turning the ball over, not necessarily as much as they did last night and tonight, but they're one of the higher turnover teams in the league? Is that okay as long as they are, as long as Joker's trying all of these crazy passes to make these awesome plays that we all love to watch, as long as they're, being aggressive and trying to make plays? Or would you like to see them maybe dumb down the offense just a little bit and try to simplify things to not turn the ball over as much? I would say that right now it's not going to cost them as much, but if they continue to turn the ball over at the rate they are right now, it's the playoffs are where it's really a killer. Like, they got to get it cleaned up for the playoffs.
Yeah, good point. You're right. And, like, are you okay with the turnovers if they score 130 or more points? And we'll just let, who cares about defense, I suppose. But tricky point. Turn points last night. Spurs better team than the Suns. Yeah, okay, but the Spurs were missing 2 of their better players too. So were the Nuggets. But
yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that, well, they were missing AG and CB. It's like, well, the Spurs were missing Wemby and Steven Castle also.
They were. Although last night was kind of the first time you could really feel the difference without AG and CB, in my opinion. Like, you really, really felt it. But yes, to your point, the Spurs were missing 2 starters as well, and two of their better players.
I will say what was interesting about, just to go real quick back to the Spurs game last night, what was so interesting about that, and Scott actually brought this up on the broadcast, DMAC. He said, I'm not saying the Spurs are better without Wemby, because clearly they're not, right? But the way they play is completely different. Like, I compared how the Spurs played last night to the George Karl, Kenyon Martin, Carmelo Anthony era Nuggets, where they're just trying to run teams out of the gym. Like, do you remember those days? Like, the Nuggets used to blow teams out all the time in the George Karl era, especially at home. Whereas in the Jokic era, it doesn't seem like they blow teams out as often. But the problem is that run and gun style doesn't work in the playoffs. Why do you think they only got out of the first round one time with Carmelo Anthony and George Karl? There was a reason for that, and it's because of the way they played the game. Now, the Nuggets might not blow as many teams out in the regular season, but they play a slower half-court style offense that works really well in the playoffs. And that's why the Nuggets have been able to have more success in the playoffs, because Nikola Jokic can just slice and dice teams up in the half court. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing to witness last night. I was like, wow, they this really reminds me of those George Karl era Nuggets just trying to run teams out of the gym. And I don't think the Nuggets were ready for that from the Spurs last night. And the Suns, man, they were just talk about running out of gas. I mean, that second half, they got blitzed by Denver in the second half. They tried to make a little bit of a run there at the end, but I thought the Nuggets looked very energetic towards the end of the game, and the Suns just looked like they were done. They were toast.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. Well, the Suns aren't that bad though.
No, they're 12-9. They're like the 6th
yeah.
seed right now in the West,
Right,
which
they're
honestly was surprising to me.
They're 8-4 at home. Nuggets are 8-2 at home. Wow.
8-2 on the road. Yeah.
Road. I'm sorry. Right. That's my point. The Nuggets actually have a better road record than home record in terms of wins and losses. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. So they're 6-3 at home and 8-2 on the road. See, that's where last night just sucks, Dan. Like that's just where you just it's the game's tied with a minute 42. You've got Jokic, you got Murray. You win that game, right? You should win that game. This year, you should win that game. And it was just a couple of threes and a couple of turnovers. And you get down by 4 points and you're always playing just catch up. And sometimes that's really hard. And I think they actually got down by 6. But like with 142 left, they fought back and it sucked losing the 18-point lead. But here we go. Let's step on their throat. And they couldn't do it. And you score 136 points and lose. Tonight, you score 130 and win. And Jokic took 10 shots last night. Dan, he only took 7 shots tonight. He only took 7 shots. He only took 10 shots. So Nikola Jokic in 2 games, Dan has taken 17 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Jamal Murray took 18 shots tonight.
Tonight he took 18 shots.
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway took 14 shots tonight. And Jokic took 17 over 2 games.
That's the beauty of Nikola Jokic, though, DMAC.
Right.
It is, though. But and that's what I think has taken myself included in this, by the way, and a lot of fans so long to have really understand this about Nikola Jokic, because earlier in his career, it was more like, Joker's just not in killer instinct mode tonight, and he just doesn't feel like scoring. That's not what's happening. He is making the right play every single time down the court. What were the Suns doing to the Nuggets in the first half of this game? Really, the entire game when Nikola Jokic was on the floor. They were double teaming, triple teaming.
Yep.
They were forcing everybody else to make shots. And at the very start of the game, the Nuggets couldn't make a shot, and that's why the Suns got out to a 9-0 lead, and the Nuggets couldn't score in the first 4 or 5 minutes of this game. But he's never going to – he's just – when he takes 25 shots in a game, why is he doing that? Because he's not getting double teamed.
Right.
Like it really just is dependent on how teams are guarding him. And that's also the beauty of Nikola. That is the juxtaposition. And what's the biggest challenge for opposing teams is, do we double Nikola Jokic and make everybody else beat us? Or do we single him and take everybody else away? Well, it really doesn't matter. They can beat you either way.
That's funny. That's what Adelman said last night. He goes, well, if we win this game, Jokic not taking many shots is what great strategy, but we lose the game and it's like, oh, he needs to shoot more.
Yeah.
But then Adelman was looking down the score sheet, but it's like, we scored 136 points. So, I mean, whether he's shooting or he's not shooting, look what we're doing here, so it shouldn't really matter. And he's right about that. So whether that is an interesting strategy for the opposing team to take. Do we want to limit how many shots he takes? If we do, we're just going to double triple team like he did. Now, Spencer Jones's parents should be happy because he's going to have a hell of a day, or whoever's
Peyton Watson.
Whoever's wide open in the corner, because somebody is going to be wide open in the corner.
That's right.
But Adelman was upset too because they weren't getting off screens very well. They were just giving open shots left and right. And, to the Spurs' credit, they were hitting them. So, but most NBA teams will hit the majority of your wide open threes. Most teams will do that. Got to get out there and defend. No doubt about it. So,
Yep. It's insane. If DMAC, if you were an opposing NBA head coach,
and
the Nuggets are coming to town, what would you prefer?
I'd make Spencer Jones hit threes. I would. I'd rather.
I agree.
I would double triple Yoke. I know when he's scoring 50 plus, they've only won one time, but like it's not like 50 plus that's going to kill you. It's like the 40 pointers, right? And the triple doubles that he's going to come up with. So I actually would take my chances on Spencer Jones and Tim Hardaway and whoever else, right? To hit Zeke Naji, Peyton Watson. I'll take my chances that those guys don't shoot as well as they did. And if they do shoot well, I'm toast. But I'm toast either way. If I just single like the Clippers, just they put Zubats, right? They just said, all right, go for it.
Yeah.
Or was it Vucevic? It was one of those guys.
I think it was Zubats. I think you were right.
It was Zubats, and it was just like, all right, we'll just, let him have his points. And, he killed him as he would do most teams. So the Nuggets can beat you in all sorts of ways. That's really not the issue. The issue is never going to be the offense with the Nuggets. It's never going to be the offense. It's excuse me. It's always going to be what kind of defensive effort can we get out of these guys?
And how many times are we turning the ball over, and how many points are we getting off of those turnovers?
Correct.
I mean,
correct.
Yeah, you're right, man. Like they score 136 points at home. You got to win 100% of those games.
We are pointing out kind of a bummer. They did give up 17 turnovers for a combined 53. So it's 34 turnovers for 53 points in 2 games. I mean, that's not great, Dan. That is not great.
That is terrible. That's absolutely awful. And that's why I said the injuries are not their kryptonite right now.
It's turnovers.
The depth are not their kryptonite right now.
Yeah.
It's the turnovers. That's been their kryptonite for the last couple of years.
You know what? I didn't even look. Did Jokic lead him in turnovers?
I can look here real quick.
Let me check. Murray had 5. Jokic had 5. So your 2 best players led your team. They had 10 of the 17.
Yeah, but like Joker had 9 the other night. I don't think it was last night, but it was a couple games ago. He had 9,
right.
In a game they won. I think that was the Memphis game.
I think you're right.
In a game they won.
You're right, because he almost had a quadrupled double, right?
That's right.
With turnovers.
That's right. Yeah. So look, go just real quick with the Joker strategy, and then I'll let you go. I mean, right now, I totally understand why teams are doubling Jokic or triple teaming him in a lot of cases, which they are, because of the injuries to Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown. Like you said it, you nailed it. You got Spencer Jones or Peyton Watson or Zeke Naji sitting in the corner. Like, I'll take my chances. But when it's Aaron Gordon sitting in the corner, well, the dude's shooting like 48% from 3. So you can't leave him open the corner. Like, so you got to change up your strategy. But that's what DMAC, that's what makes Nikola Jokic the best offensive basketball player to ever play this game, and the hardest person to guard and game plan for in the history of the NBA, because of that dynamic right there. No matter what you do as a defense, he's going to kill you no matter what, so long as his teammates are making a decent percentage of these outside shots. I mean, the only way this works is if the guys shooting from the outside can't hit a shot. That's the only way to slow him down when he's on the court. That's it.
Well, I look for success. We should look up how the Mavs are doing against the Clippers. They've lost 3 in a row, and they're in town on Monday. They suck. They've only won 1 road game this year. Let's see what the score is here. It's a close game. Close game late in the 4th. Clippers are up 94-91. But come on, man. We got to beat the Mavs, right? You're going to beat the Mavs on Monday, and then they go on a roadie. And, we sort of go from there, right? So, that game, oh, man. Good win tonight. They've always been, and Jokic in particular has been really good on the back-to-back. So that seems to work in the Nuggets' favor. That just game last night. Damn it, Dan. That one just kind of like, they got the cup. They're playing for it. They're 0 for 3 and moving on to the quarterfinals in cup play.
Right.
I mean,
in the Jokic era.
In the Jokic era
with this team.
It's just annoying. I mean, all right, whatever, man. Whatever. At least we don't. Oh, no, I guess we will still have to look at that court because they're still going to play. other cup games, right? Like I don't know how that works.
Well, they've got sponsorships they've got to, take care of. That's why they're doing that. Because I'm with you. I'm like, why are they doing the court if they're out of it?
I don't know, because they built the court. Who knows? And then the Nuggets go. The schedule has been so weird, hasn't it? Like
Dude,
this.
I don't ever remember a schedule like this to start a season ever for the Nuggets. Ever.
So they played Dallas, and then we go at Indiana, at Atlanta, at Charlotte, at Sacramento. Whoa. Wow. That's a doozy in terms of travel, huh? For the next 4 games after Dallas on Monday. So you best get your win on Monday.
Yep. Well, the Nuggets they're better on the road this year than they are at home.
Hey, maybe you can explain this to me. They have a game at Charlotte on December 7th. Their next game is until Thursday at Sacramento.
Yeah. That big gap in December.
We have some cup games that are going to be filled in there. Is that right?
Yes. Okay. So what happens is they have to wait to see what happens in the NBA Cup.
Right.
And then they'll add 2 more cup games in there. That. Yeah, because I always look at the last 3 years. I look at the schedule and I see this massive gap in the schedule. So actually, no, they've already added the games. Okay,
they have?
Yeah, so DMAC. So if you're looking at the schedule and everybody listening,
okay,
they had on the schedule the Nuggets playing at Charlotte on Sunday, December 7th. Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't have them playing again until Thursday, December 18th at home against Orlando. Okay. That was the gap. So they've already added the 2 loser bracket cup games, if you will, in there.
So that is Thursday at Sacramento, and then Monday home against Houston.
That's correct.
That's not that exhausting. There's no back-to-backs there. So you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. All right, whatever. Then you have 3 days off before you play. So they'll probably come home. They'll probably, I would guess, come home and then to practice or whatever, and then go to Sacramento. So they'll get off the road
after the Charlotte game.
After the Charlotte game, yeah.
Oh, of course, because you're like, why would they fly over Denver to get to Sacramento?
No, that makes no sense. So,
you're right. They'll probably just come home and then fly out the day before.
Boy, Dallas sucks. Indiana sucks. Atlanta, how are they? They're not that good.
They're not. They're okay.
Charlotte,
they're just okay. They're terrible. Sacramento, terrible.
Houston,
God,
good.
They play Sacramento again.
I know. I mean, we're gonna see Sacramento, Clippers, Utah. We're gonna see them 4 times. Just weird that we're gonna see Sacramento 4 times by December 11th.
Yeah, but that's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up because I hadn't realized they had added the loser bracket cup games in there. But yeah, man, looking at the schedule here in December, at least is and not even just opponent wise, just as far as like however many games and however many days, it really eases up in December. Yeah, I mean, how many back-to-backs do they have in the month of December?
Oh my gosh,
I think they have one. They have one back-to-back.
One
in the month of December. That's it.
And that's a 3 games in 4 nights. That's a tough home against Utah, at Dallas, day off, Christmas, home against Minnesota at 8:30, the Drunk Fest game. That'll be insane.
Yeah, but after Charlotte, they have 3 days off. Then they play on Thursday in Sacramento, and then they have another 3 days off before they play Houston at home, and then they have 2 days off until they play Orlando on Thursday, the 18th.
Their killer schedule comes December 26th through January 8th, basically. At Orlando, at Miami, at Toronto, at Cleveland, at Brooklyn, at Philly, at Boston, then finally home against Atlanta. So this is where I would be like, okay, are you going to have CB and AG back by then? Because the rest of this looks pretty good.
By when? By the end of that 7-game road trip?
No, before it. Before it starts.
Before the
what do you think?
I don't know. Because the timeline would suggest it would be right around the start of that road trip, I guess. You're right. I hadn't even thought. But would they want it? That's a really interesting question. Yeah, like what should the strategy be for David Adelman? Like, would you rather have those guys come on the road trip, maybe start halfway through the road trip, or just say, you know what, guys, just get extra rest? Because if they just decide to keep Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown home for that 7-game road trip, that gives them until Friday, January 9th until they would be coming back. And that's a home game against the Atlanta Hawks.
I'll say this. I'll say before that road trip starts, from now until Christmas, it's 11 games. I'd like to see them go 9-2 in that stretch. I'd like to see 9-2.
So what would that make their record? What are they right now? 14-5?
That would put them at 23-7. That's pretty good. 23-7 would be all right. Through 30 games.
23-7? That's acceptable.
Yeah.
All right, man.
That would sort of make up for that crap loss last night.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel.
We'll see. Hey, thanks for jumping on, D. Appreciate it as always.
Bye.
All right, there he goes, everybody. Darren McKee. Yeah, how about that? I'm glad DMAC brought that up there because I hadn't seen that they added those 2 loser bracket cup games to the Nuggets schedule. But man, that part of the schedule in December, just really December as a whole, really eases up for the Nuggets. So excellent stuff. The month of December, everyone, is a really good opportunity for the Nuggets to rack up some wins this season, just with how the schedule eases up. And then obviously towards the end of the month, they've got to go on a 7-game road trip. But the first 20 days of December are a really good opportunity for the Nuggets, a rested Nuggets team, to rack up some wins and really kind of get this thing going. And then hopefully by right around Christmas or the new year, they'll have a healthy Christian Brown and a healthy Aaron Gordon back to help this team out. But man, what a job by the Nuggets depth pieces, everyone. Like really, what a great job by their depth pieces while these guys have been out. Tim Hardaway has been just a force on the offensive end for the Denver Nuggets. Spencer Jones has had his dud games, but he's also had games like tonight where I thought he was very impactful. And for a guy that is, would be in the G League for a lot of teams right now and would probably be in the G League for a healthy Nuggets team, I think he's done a pretty tremendous job considering the circumstances. And Jonas Valanciunas has been great as the backup center. They're able to still run the 2-man game with either Cam Johnson or Jamal Murray with that second unit. It's been fantastic to see. And then, Cam Johnson, since he's returned from the bicep injury, has really been good coming back. And this is the Cam Johnson that I think everybody was expecting when they made the trade for Michael Porter Jr. to the Brooklyn Nets, and Cam Johnson coming to Denver. He's been fantastic over the last 6 games he's been back. Like I said, he's averaging, I think, close to 20 points a game, shooting well over 40% from 3. You can tell he's starting to figure it out. If you remember, at the start of the season, I said, okay, it's kind of like a 20-game marker here that I'm going to wait to really evaluate Cam Johnson. And they're game 19. Well, I know the first 10 games didn't go great for Cam Johnson and everybody was sort of freaking out. I said, just be patient. Let's kind of evaluate it truly after 20 games. Well, we're at game 19 and look at what Cam Johnson's doing right now. He has been fantastic. So excellent win for the Nuggets tonight, everybody. Again, they get the win over the Phoenix Suns. They improve to 14-5 on the year. They'll play the Dallas Mavericks coming up on Monday night, and we'll have post-game reaction for you then right here on Altitude Sports Radio. Thank you for listening, everybody. Have a great night.